everyone, it's me, MC84, and I'm back today. It's been a while since I last filmed. Last time you guys saw me, I was growing out a pixie and my hair was longer. I cut off all my hair, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about my tragus piercing. So I got this bad boy done on my right ear 6 weeks ago, and it was just out of the whim. I had my tragus piercings done a long time ago when I was 19 years old and wasn't educated enough. I didn't have a smartphone back then. So it's not like I could Google this stuff up and be like, okay, what to expect when you get a tragus piercing or any kind of body piercing or cartilage piercing for that fact. So I went to this not very reputable piercing place, and they didn't really educate me and tell me, hey, maybe we should only do one ear at a time. No, I ended up getting both of them done, and I ended up learning that day that you can't sleep on your ears when you get a piercing done because of the friction against your pillow. It can cause a hypertrophic scar to develop, which is those piercing bumps, those annoying piercing bumps. And, and then it doesn't heal, and then it can become infected because, your pillowcase isn't clean unless you change out your pillowcase every day. But that's what you would have to do if you get a piercing and you want to lay on it. And they didn't tell me, oh, you should sleep with a neck pillow that you use for traveling. So, and they didn't even give me instructions on how to clean it. So I never went back there to ask anything further because they didn't tell me anything, and I was overcharged. So I was like, forget it. I ended up removing them a month later after excruciating pain. They were so swollen around the jewelry that it was even hard to remove. I ended up having to go to the piercing shop that I went to this time for them to remove it. And they didn't even feel comfortable with removing it because they weren't the ones who pierced me, but they did it anyways. But needless to say, that was many years ago. So this time I did my research. I Googled it. What to expect, the healing process, everything. I even watched a few YouTube videos. I did it all. I even decided which place I was going to. So I went to the place that removed the jewelry the last time from a long time ago. I went to this place, and the guy who did it, he's been doing it for over 13 years. Piercings, and that's what he's known for. So he was the one who pierced my tragus on my right side 6 months ago, and this was the jewelry that I was pierced with, and it's not a very attractive piece of jewelry. And he even told me, come back in 2 to 3 weeks, we'll change it out to something nicer, but you want to have something large so that way, in case of swelling, if you're prone to that. So I didn't know if I was or wasn't, because I don't remember how the first time went around, and that experience really didn't count because no one told me what to expect, and I really didn't know how to clean it back then because no one ever taught me that. So he informed me to wash it once a day in the shower when I wash my body, to use a antimicrobial soap, not an antibacterial soap because it's too strong. So dial soap wasn't a good idea in a bar form. And he also said nothing that's in a clear form like this, only use a bar of soap like Dove, the non-scented kind, the one that's for sensitive skin. He said that's the most gentlest soap you could use, that's antimicrobial, and that isn't too strong to remove all the good bacteria in your ear. And I said, okay. So that's what I did. And then he told me to spray this Neil Cleanse Piercing Aftercare Fine Mist Wound Wash 5 to 6 times a day. So that's what I did. I did it every day for 6 weeks. The first 3 days, it didn't swell up. It was just red, and it was fresh. So like, I knew that that was completely normal. And he told me that as the weeks go by, I'm going to notice some crusting there, and that's completely normal, and then eventually no crusting, and then it'll be fine. And then he told me I will experience some swelling, just it might happen in a couple of days, and it did. After the 3rd day, my ears swelled up like you could not believe. It was so red and swollen around the jewelry. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? Did I not follow his directions? And he gave it all to me in a paper, gave me his Instagram account information so that I can look him up and ask him questions. I ended up going back to the shop because I was like, crap, did I use the wrong bar of soap? Because, I know he told me Dove, but I wasn't sure. I ended up going back there, showing it to him. He was all like, no, it looks great. The swelling is completely normal. He was like, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing to clean it. So I told him, and he was like, awesome. And he was like, keep it up. He was all like, come back in 2 to 3 weeks. We'll change it out. I waited 6. I wanted to make sure that I was able to move this without any pain or irritation or any stinging while I was in the shower. And I did not sleep on it whatsoever. I sleep on my left side, so I knew that my right ear, if I wanted to bedazzle it, this would be the ear to do it on, because I don't sleep on this side. And if I did, he was like, you either sleep like this, where your hand's like in a donut, or use a traveling pillow and sleep on that, which I didn't have to do because I don't really sleep on this side. And I kid you not, it's been the easiest piercing I have ever had done. The swelling went down after the 2nd week, and I went back to him 6 weeks after the date. So this past Saturday, I went back to him and had it changed out to the stud with the diamond, and even then, my ear still looked a little bit tiny swollen still with this in, but as soon as it was switched to this, it like went back to normal. Like I never even pierced it, which I was very surprised. So what I have in here right now is a 16 gauge, 8mm long barbell with the diamond in the front, and it's internally threaded. So it screws on in the front, and he told me, now that it's completely healed, I only have to clean it every other day, spray it once or twice a day with this stuff if I want to, not to overdo it because you don't want to dry it out. But I'm just going to show you what it looks like so you have an idea. But I'm very happy with it. Like, I cannot wait to get another piercing done, because this was the easiest piercing I've ever had done. Another tip that he let me know on was, don't touch it. Don't touch it at all. Even when I'm spraying this, he said, you spray it just like this. Make sure it gets in the inside part and on the outside, and that's it. The only time you touch it is when you're in that shower. That's it. That's the only time you touch it, and that's when your hand's foamy with the Dove soap, he said. You want to make sure it has that foam consistency, not just like the straight lining of the Dove. You want to make sure it's foamy, and that's the only time you should clean it. And he's been right. I plan on getting another piercing done. I just don't know where on my ear. I'm kind of hinting for right here, which is this flat piece here. It's considered the flat. And then getting 2 more done here and calling it a day with this ear, or probably getting a conch in there too. So if you have any questions, if you're having issues with your tragus piercing, let me know. These are the tips that worked for me. But you know, I'm not a piercer. That is my disclaimer. I'm not a piercer. I don't know anything about this. I just followed the instructions that my piercer gave me, and it's worked. So, and he didn't even tell me like if I get a piercing bug to use tea tree oil, none of that stuff. I've just simply been doing what his steps were, and I haven't had any issues with it. But you tell me what you think. Let me know what you think about my next possible piercing. I'm thinking right there. If you've had that done, comment down below. Let me know how painful it was. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.